Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy keto recipe for you. Today I am going to show you how to make easy keto Danishes. Now I do already have a Danish recipe on my channel, but this one is easier and I think better. So if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos, at least every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So, while we do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line a large baking sheet with a silicone baking mat or with parchment paper, then set it aside for a minute. Before we start making the actual dough, we're going to make the filling first. You can use any filling you want, but I am making a cream cheese filling. In a medium bowl, combine 4 ounces of softened room temperature cream cheese, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract or the extract flavor of your choice. If you want it to have a different flavor rather than a vanilla hint to it, you can put any flavor you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how dominant you want the flavor. Add 25 grams or around 2 tablespoons of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever granulated sweetener, and you can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want the filling. Add 1 large egg yolk. We just want the yolk. This is just going to help give you a little bit more of a creamy filling. You don't necessarily have to have it if you don't want to add the egg yolk. That's fine. You can use the egg white in any other recipe that calls for egg whites, or you can throw it in some scrambled eggs or an omelet. Beat everything together on medium-low until it's fully combined and smooth. Make sure if you need to, you stop and scrape down the sides of the bowl as needed because you want all of your ingredients to be fully combined. Then set it aside for a minute. In a medium mixing bowl, combine 14 grams or around 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, 7 grams or around 1 tablespoon of fine flaxseed meal. I prefer golden flax meal just because I like the color and the taste better. You can use dark flaxseed meal if you prefer. You also want to make sure that this is fine enough to go through a mesh strainer. I always regrind my flaxseed meal and then I measure out the 7 grams or 1 tablespoon that I need. Add 50 grams or around a half cup of bamboo fiber or oat fiber. If you can't find bamboo fiber or oat fiber, you can try this with coconut flour. So if you do use coconut flour, your texture is going to be different. It's going to be a little bit more dense, and it probably won't expand as much as when you're using the bamboo or oat fiber. Add 5 grams or around 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 9 grams or around 1 tablespoon of instant dry yeast. This is optional. You don't have to put it in. It doesn't do anything for rising. It's strictly to give the dough a little bit more flavor. Add 3 grams or around 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. If you don't want to use xanthan gum, you can use 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk powder, or you can check out my article on xanthan gum substitutes. Just keep in mind, anytime you substitute any ingredient in any recipe, it can affect the taste and texture. Add 25 grams or around 2 tablespoons of the granulated sweetener of your choice. Again, I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever sweetener you want. And again, you can adjust it more or less depending on how sweet you want your dough. If you want to, you can add some dry spices. I just want mine to be a neutral sweet flavor, so I'm not adding any spices. Sift the dry ingredients together until they are fully combined and there are no lumps. Then set it aside for a minute. In a large mixer bowl, combine 2 large room temperature eggs, 15 milliliters or around 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This is just for texture. It's not going to have a vinegar flavor in your Danish. It's just to help give your dough a little bit more of a firm texture. Add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You can adjust this more or less depending on how much of a vanilla hint you want in your dough. Add 120 grams or around a 1/2 cup of room temperature plain Greek yogurt or sour cream. Beat everything together on medium-low for about 30 seconds or until everything is fully combined. Reduce the speed of your mixture to low and gradually add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Just do this a little bit at a time and allow the dry ingredients to beat in after each addition. Once the dry ingredients are fully added, then increase the speed of your mixer to medium-low and beat on medium-low for another 30 seconds or so until everything is completely combined. If you need to, you can stop and scrape down the sides of your bowl. You want to make sure that all the dry ingredients get fully incorporated. If you don't have a standing mixer, you can use a hand mixer, or you can do this with a wooden spoon. It's really lightweight dough, so it'll easily come together. Once again, reduce the speed of your mixer to low and gradually beat in about 3 to 4 tablespoons of hot water. You don't want this boiling, but you do want it hot. The heat will help soften the high fiber flour, so you will have a nice smooth dough. Beat the water in until it's fully combined and a very wet dough has formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push everything to the center of the bowl. Then let the dough stand at room temperature for about 15 minutes so it can absorb some of the moisture. After 15 minutes, the dough is still going to be wet, but it should have absorbed some of the mixture, so there's a little bit more thickness to the dough. Scoop the dough out 1/4 cup at a time onto your prepared baking sheet. Make sure you leave space in between each one of the scoops so they can expand a little bit. They don't expand a lot, but they do expand a little bit. Use a butter knife and shape each scoop into a circular mound with a flat top. Spoon about 1 tablespoon of the filling of your choice into the center of each one of the mounds. If you don't want to do the ricotta filling, one very quick filling is just do some keto jelly. Place the Danishes into your preheated oven. Bake at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes or until the Danishes are golden. Once the Danishes are done baking, remove them from the oven and allow them to cool on the pan for about 10 minutes so they can firm up. After 10 minutes, transfer the Danishes to a wire rack. You can eat these warm or at room temperature. And here we are with my lovely Danishes. Hopefully you can see those. I don't want to dump them. I have one with the cream cheese filling and the other one with some blackberry jelly. You can put any filling you want in these. You can make them sweet. You can make them a savory Danish. It'd be a little interesting, but hey, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. I added a little bit extra filling over the top after it was done baking, just because some of the filling cooked into the Danish a little bit more than I wanted it to, so I just added a little bit more, but that's just me. So these look good. They smell good. They feel nice, nice and soft. A little tiny, tiny hint of a crust around it like they're supposed to have. But, of course, we want to know if they even taste good, so you don't have to bother making them if they taste gross. So let's see here. Yummy. Yes, that is tasty. I like that. It has a nice light texture in the center. And of course, it's got that little tiny bit of a moist fill from the xanthan gum. If you don't use xanthan gum, you shouldn't have that. But I'm used to it, so it doesn't bother me. It's got a nice soft texture to it, and I love the cream cheese filling. That's my favorite when it comes to Danishes. So this is very good. It is definitely a thumbs up. There's the thumb. Yes, it is. It's tasty. Hopefully when you make it, you will enjoy it. You can eat these immediately. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 1 week, or store them in an airtight freezer-safe container in your freezer for up to 1 month. If you do freeze them, make sure you put some parchment paper in between each one of the Danishes so they don't stick together. Then eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.